Hello everybody, this is Jeff Womack with EXE Automated Solutions. And today what I'd like to do is talk to you about importing and interacting with Interlocks. So let's get started. I'll just log in and we'll bring us back to this page. So in the last few videos what we did is we imported all our device tags through Excel. We watched it automatically create our device checks and device soft tags. Then after that, what we did is we imported our soft tag values and set up our hyperlinks to launch drawings. So in this video, what we're going to do is the next step in setting up a project, which is importing or setting up your interlocks. Now, when we go to the interlocks page, you can see that there are no interlocks. And if I select here, you can see that there's no causes associated with each one of these effect tags. And over here, there's no effects associated with any of these cause tags. So basically where that puts us, there's one of two ways that we can set up a cause and effect. We can go through the shutdown key, and we can go through and set up one shutdown key that's consistent throughout the project. And I can select a tag, or I can filter for a name of the tag and select it, and can reference that tag right here. And if I select here and hit paste, what it'll do is it'll put that tag within this effect. So the cause tag is set up in the effect tag right now. So at that point, I can, if there's any notes associated with it, I can add a note there. I can look at creating an event. And basically what the event is, say you have a pressure transmitter high, or a switch that's got a trip condition on it, or anything like that. So what that does is allows me to set up all the, if it's a low, it's basically the same if it's like a PSLL for a switch, or a PAHH for a analog value, or it's a low, or so on. If it's an alarm based on alarm event, or a 2 of 2, meaning it's a combination of two things that have to happen, you can add any one of these. And once I save this and go back to here, I can see this little box right here. What that does is allows me to change any of these values. I can add value, any of the values to it, or I can add change the name of one of them, and it'll replicate throughout the project. Excuse me. So the next one is the action. And that's basically what you would see in each square of the cause and effect matrix. So this A for activate, and B for effect can create or can be bypassed. And so right here, once again, is this little button here, so that I can get in and I can add actions and put an action description here as required through the process of setting up your interlocks. So what I'll do right now is I'll just go create an alarm and say it's an action, and I'll hit save. And when I hit save, it updates if I have anything to update. So you can see that right here we're in NC 4530. I added a cause tag to it, and it told me that that cause is reference to NC 4530. So if I were to select, say, a different one, I'll just go put an analog in, and I'll hit paste, then I'll hit save. And now what I can do is I can select an alarm, but the action in this case might be, or select an event, which might be a high, and the action might be, it could be anything. I'll just put, it closes a valve, closes something. So now that I've got these two actions in here, and when I press save, it says that these two here are both associated with this one effect. Now, say if I wanted to add, I had a whole list of causes in this one effect, and there's another one that's very similar or exactly the same. I can hit copy all, and then I could go to a different effect here. I'll just go to, say, the next one down from there, and I'll hit paste all. And there it goes. It added everything I copied, and I hit save. And now you can look over here and see that this effect right here is associated with two causes because I've copied and pasted. So typically when I'm doing a project, this is the way I do it. That way I can cross-reference and basically audit the cause and effect matrix to make sure it makes sense and raise any questions as I'm going. So in the event that you're fully confident in the cause and effect matrix, and you know that the export is from it is 100%, what you can do is you can actually import your full cause and effect matrix from an Excel spreadsheet. Now, to get to the Excel spreadsheet, import and export, you go the same way. Typically, you go into your devices and then you click on Excel button. And right in this section right here, you see cause and effect, and then it's looking for this Excel spreadsheet named CE controller. And where that CE controller exists is in the same as the root directory of the front-end database. And it's in this folder called Excel exports. Now in the last video, when I was bringing in the IO controller information, I also copied and pasted the CE cause and effect controller information. So what I'll do is I'll go, if this Excel spreadsheet isn't here when you open it and you need to create your Excel spreadsheet, what you would do is the exact same thing. If it's not there, you just go ahead and press this export button and it'll create the cause and effect controller Excel spreadsheet for you to start inputting data into. Now the format of this Excel spreadsheet is quite straightforward. Basically, here is your effect tag, and you notice I have the same effect tags in every one of these cells here. But the cause tag that's associated with that effect tag is different in all of these cells. So typically the effect tag would be down on one row on the side of your on the left side of your cause and effect matrix, and these cause tags would be different columns within. Oh, pardon me, I got it all wrong. The effect tags would be across the top, and the cause tags would be in rows across the side. So, and then you would have your event. Typically in a traditional cause and effect, it would be PAHH, PALL, or PSLL, or PSHH. Because this is a component of a database, we'll have to have the event as a trip or a high or a low or so on. And then this portion here is typically what you see in each square of a cause and effect matrix. So is it A, is it SS, or is it close? Whatever your company defines as a standard for your cause and effect matrix, and whatever they put in each cell can be configured in the normalization table that we just looked at for setting up your events and your actions in your causes section of your cause and effect matrix. And this part here is basically for export only. So if the customer wants to see the cause and effect checks in an Excel spreadsheet, you can export it, and it'll export either true or false if it's checked, and then who it was checked by and the date it was checked. Of course, when you import, it does not look at any of this information. Basically what it does is during a full import, it wipes out your full cause and effect matrix and rebuilds it, so that basically after you are done importing your cause and effect and you start commissioning, you're definitely not going to want to import at all. So you would add any fine tune, any changes, anything that was missed just from the front end of the database. So what I'll do is I'll close that and I'll close this. And I want to point out something to you real quick. Like if you go into admin and you go into user access level, there's an area here that's called import interlocks. Now, after you start commissioning, after you've done your initial setup, you're going to want to definitely turn that off. People can't overwrite the interlock changes in an import. Even if you're an admin, you probably want to turn it off for yourself. So I'll just turn back on, and I'll go back to my interlocks, which is ready for import. And typically the import, when I do initiate an import, it will take 3 to 5 minutes to import all the device tags because it's got quite a bit to build. So without any waste of time, I will go over to the Excel import export section and I will import that cause and effect matrix. And here's where it warns you again, if you initiate an import, all the interlocks will be deleted and re-imported. Are you sure? Are you positive that the import file is good? And I'm going to say yes in this case because I am just building a new project. So what I'll do is I'll just point out to you that you'll see the progress bar in the bottom right corner. There it says we're importing CE controller, and you can see that the progress bar is going. And it'll take about another minute or so. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video and come back to you as soon as it's done. Okay, I'm back. That actually didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. It finished within about another 15 seconds after I paused the video. So anyways, now that we've imported the interlocks, if we go over to the interlock screen, automatically it comes up with an effect tag that has some causes associated with it. So if we go right here, I can look at all the effect tags, and it shows me that this one here has 26 causes associated with it. And right here, I can go in and see all my causes that I just imported, as well as I can press navigate, and it'll show me the cause right here in this box and show me every effect that that cause is linked or associated with. And furthermore, when I hit navigate down through here, what it'll do is it'll bring me to that effect, show me all the causes, and highlight the cause in here that I have lit up here. So you notice it highlighted ESLL 4500. If I were to check on this one and then go down through, you can see that it's highlighting AT 5010 in each one of those effects. So now you are ready to commission. So at this point here, if you wanted to commission the effects, what you would do is say you're commissioning this one, you'd start from this valve. Everyone verifies that it worked good, so now I can check it off and carry on going through each valve that worked and check them off. So basically what this is like signing your name and time stamping every single square within a cause and effect matrix. Typically what it's done is people will highlight that square with a highlighter in the cause and effect matrix, and then they will sign your name alongside that row saying that they're happy with everything that happened. But that does not guarantee that the person who signed beside that row is actually the person who verified that check. And as well, up here I have a section right here where it can be witnessed. So a person would log in on another front end, and they would witness it, and it would timestamp and put their signatures right here. So historically, what this method of doing interlock checks does is it ensures a lot more transparency to the customer in who did what with the interlocks and when it was done. Being it timestamps everything, it instills a lot more confidence in the transparency of the interlock checks. Well, I thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next video, and have a wonderful day.